Hello everyone, Ingrid here from Magna Hair Studio. Welcome. I just wanted to go over really quickly a typical appointment for me and for my clients at Magna Hair Studio. So what you're seeing here is a client who had been somewhere else for her hair color, and basically she is trying out somebody different, which is me, and we are going to be doing what is called a balayage refresh. So she's had it done before, and as you can see, it was pretty grown out in the back, and you can kind of see that going towards the top here, she's got a little bit more blending. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to refresh her color. I'm not too worried about the underneath because she mostly wears her hair down. So when she curls it, it actually doesn't really affect her color too much. So I'm basically going over a consultation with her. I told her that, perhaps in the future we will need to touch up the bottom. But for this time around, we don't really have to worry too much about it to keep her costs low. And yes. My recommendation is always to go with a haircut first. I don't know if you are able to tell, but her ends were just in desperate need of a trim. And especially if you prefer long hair, it is really, really important to get regular trims. That way you don't have to cut a lot of hair off when you come in to see your colorist. It also allows the hair to sit better. It allows the hair to feel better. It allows the hair to grow. So my recommendation is always get regular trims, usually anywhere between 6 to 12 weeks. So usually that's the time for my clients to also get what is called a toner, and it kind of allows you to maintain your hair nice and healthy and strong, and thus it will grow a lot faster and a lot stronger. So yeah, so as you can see, I usually do my haircuts dry. That way I'm better able to visualize where I need to place my color, and also I'm not wasting product by later cutting off the hair. So that's usually what I like to do, is I like to get the haircut out of the way and make sure the hair is healthy, and then we're going to be ready to apply the color next. So with my client today, we are going to be adding some brightness around the face, and we're going to make sure she's nice and bright, especially around the face. So as you can see, I'm just adding some really fine, what is called baby lights. These are great for adding tons of dimension and softness and contrast. So my client's natural base is more of a medium brown, so in contrast with the blonde, it's going to look really, really pretty, and making sure that those pieces are nice and fine. That way when she wears it up, she doesn't have any harsh lines or any demarcations. My particular style of balayage is making sure the hair lightens enough so that we can avoid any warm tones, or should I say more, any brassy undertones. My client has suffered with that in the past. She felt that her hair went too brassy, and that really bothered her. So with this technique, we are going to avoid that and allow her hair to lighten enough so that when we tone it, it looks really, really nice and soft, but we don't have any brassiness showing through. Here we're moving to what is called the money piece. It's basically the first thing that my client will see once we're done with her color. It is that bright piece that goes right closer to the scalp, and it just brightens everything up. It is amazing. It is very on trend right now. A lot of people are requesting it. So even if you're just coming in for what is called a money piece, this is a great way to refresh your balayage and make it look nice and fresh again. And it could be customizable. It doesn't have to go all the way to the scalp. It could go a bit lower. It could be a little bit darker. It all depends on your style and what look you're going for. I do want to mention though, as you can see on some of these pieces, they're quite blonde already, so very careful not to overlap any of those blonde pieces. When doing balayage, my style is to keep the hair very healthy, and even if it takes a little bit longer to pick out those already blonde pieces, I do it because I want to make sure my clients do not have any breakage or their hair doesn't become weakened by too much lightener and too much overlapping. So a lot of my hair clients have long hair, and it is so important to make sure that I am picking out all of those pieces that need to be picked out before I can move forward with the lightening. So also noticing here, I'm doing a little bit of back combing. That will allow my balayage to be nice and blended, but I'm also in control of my how much lift I'm getting from my foils. And once we're done with our foiling process and we are done processing, we are ready to tone the hair. So at this point, before we do the toning process, I need to first apply my Olaplex number 2. And what I love about Olaplex number 2 is that it's going to also help me detangle this teasing that I've done with the hair. So I don't like to necessarily pull on the hair. I like to use the water to kind of do the detangling for me. And also Olaplex number 2 treatment is a sealer, so it's sealing in my Olaplex number 1. And in case I hadn't mentioned it, basically Olaplex number 1 is a bond builder that is protecting the hair as we're lightening, and Olaplex number 2 is basically the treatment that seals in that Olaplex number 1. And as you can see, it's also helping me with the detangling. And I love this part because it's basically the last step before we dry, and it is the toning process. I call it the icing on the cake. It is so rewarding to see how the lightness came out, and now we're just gonna refine it with a toner. I never skip the toner step, especially with modern balayage. It allows for a seamless application, and the client just has a much softer transition between her natural hair and the highlights, and it just allows the hair to have what I called a transition color as well. So basically where the natural hair meets the highlight, there's a bit of a different tonality, so it is what we call a color melt. And I love to do this because it just makes the hair look a lot more natural, and it just gives it a little bit more life. It looks a lot more believable. Definitely is something that I love doing, and it's part of my style in toning. And I always do more than one toner. The reason why is because I want to make sure that I have the right tone in the right place. So if I want a lighter end, I want to make sure that my toner is a little bit lighter and creating depth at the top. I use a deeper shade on the top. So in this case, I am using my Kevin Murphy toners. I absolutely love Kevin Murphy. As you can see, the application is a little bit different than my first toner. It is done with a cream, and I'm just applying it section by section, carefully making sure that everything's saturated. I do take my time, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's one of those things that can be a pro and it can be a con, because it does take a little bit longer to do, but I just want to make sure that every single hair has the toner that it needs, so that the client can, you know, see the color everywhere that you see it. So this process, you're looking at about 2.5 hours to 3 hours for just a refresh. Now, if you were to be getting a full-on balayage or a color correction, it could take up to 4 to 5. And usually after the blow dry, I like to finish up the styling with a bit of a loose wave. I find that clients really appreciate it because it allows their style to last longer. Also recommend not to shampoo your hair within the next couple days of getting your balayage, just to give your hair a bit of a break and allow the pH levels to regulate, and that way you don't wash out the toner right away because the toner is the best part. So we'll make sure the toner stays in, and so if you didn't already know, it's something you may want to change after getting your color done. Make sure you're waiting at least a couple days. And I just quickly add a loose wave with my 1.5 inch curling iron just to add some loose waves. I always find that balayage looks extra nice when you do some curls. So, I mean, a good balayage is one that will look good regardless. You shouldn't have to wear your hair curly. If you have a balayage, you can wear it nice and smooth and straight and have a really seamless color blend. Obviously, if you curl it, it will show off the highs and lows a little bit better, but be sure that when you do get your balayage that you are able to wear it straight, because that is a good sign of a good balayage. And we just did a little bit of back combing here for my client. She was going on after with her friends, and I don't mind doing that at all. She loves volume, and so we just added a little extra for her. So we're all done here, guys. As you can see, it's already kind of late and the light is kind of gone, but we still are able to see how beautiful her color looks, all the dimensions in the hair. She's got beautiful highs and lows, and you can tell she is very happy with her hair color. So if you'd like to see more, please check out my Instagram page at Magna Hair Studio, and also don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thanks so much, guys. Until next time.